What is going on, everybody? James of Blue Tech Committee here, and I want to talk about four main reasons why I think next-gen consoles should have been delayed until spring or summer of 2021 and have not come out at the end of last year. And now, well, grant these are reasons I'm speaking for both consoles. I'm going to mainly be using the PS5 here as an example because, let's just face it, a lot of the issues are coming out of Sony's camp, while with Microsoft, the only issue I've really seen is the fact that Halo Infinite was delayed. Now, granted, a delay of a game does suck, but I'd rather actually have a delay of a game and actually have a good game when it comes out instead of having a broken mess like we've seen with Cyberpunk 2077. So that's pretty much where I'm going to be going with this. I'm going to be looking at Sony and the issues that we've been seeing with the PS5, starting with stick drift. Now, if you owned a Nintendo Switch, you're probably unfortunately familiar with Joy-Con drift, which is essentially the same thing of these sticks drifting, making your character move or the camera move without you even touching it, which can actually really break a game and not basically make a game unplayable. Now, granted, the DualSense controller is actually covered under warranty. Sony actually wants you to pay for it to have it shipped out and for them to be able to fix it. And while they're fixing it, you really have no way to actually play your PS5. So during that time, you basically have a giant brick sitting there, basically being able to do nothing with it until you get your controller back. But that's not the only issue that the DualSense controller even has. Actually, with the new haptic triggers that you're able to use where you can actually feel different environments and actually feel the tension back when you pull on a bow and so on and so forth, those triggers actually in some cases actually been snapping, basically making them unusable and just making them really loose, and you really are out of a trigger at that point. That is another issue that they have on top of the fact that you're also getting some stick drift. And I don't know how widespread these issues even are. It might be a select few. It might be, I think there are probably more people out there probably experiencing the stick drift more than they're experiencing the trigger issue. But the fact that these are two issues that are happening with the controller itself, and unless you have a second controller, you're not going to be able to use your gaming console while you're actually getting it fixed. And now the third issue I do have with the PlayStation 5 is the fact that there actually has been like some kind of like little pinging noise or like little like rattling noise from what I've heard in the console itself. And that is kind of an issue. It doesn't really seem to actually cause too many issues on the console itself, but the fact is you shouldn't be getting rattling in your brand new $500 gaming console. It just shouldn't be the thing. I'm just sorry, that would not be something that I'd find acceptable if I bought a $500 console or even a $300 console in the case of the Series S on the Xbox end of it. And I just heard some rattling around in there and sounded like something was loose. To me, that would send a major red flag. And the fact is, hey, is something going to happen later on down the line where this rattling causes a bigger issue and I'm going to either have to go get it fixed or go get a new console later on? Just even a year or two into the life cycle of the console. Now, the fourth and final issue I do have with the PS5 is not so much a mechanical issue or an issue with any of the components breaking, but it's the fact that there's actually a feature on the PS5 that they actually promised that is actually not even available yet, and that is the ability to actually increase your storage. And I feel increasing your storage on your gaming console is actually very important, especially with the size of games nowadays. I think like a few hundred gigabytes. I think even like I think Call of Duty now is actually now up to 500 gigabytes from what I heard. That takes up a lot of storage, and actually when you only get 667 gigabytes in the PS5 after you take into account for the operating system and everything else the gaming console needs itself, you're only left with a little bit over 600 gigabytes, which isn't a lot, and the ability to actually upgrade your storage actually would be very beneficial. But the problem is that the NVMe slot in the gaming console is not usable right now. Sony will later on activate that port, allowing you to put an NVMe 4.0 M.2 drive in there. And until Sony decides to activate that, you're stuck with a very low storage amount. Now, while I do actually feel the Xbox Series X and the PS5 should have been delayed until later this year, I definitely think they are great gaming consoles. They are definitely a major step up from the base consoles from last gen. You will definitely love either of these consoles. But that's just kind of my take on the situation. I kind of believe that these gaming consoles were not ready to be brought out just yet. I feel they were kind of rushed, especially also being brought out in the middle of a pandemic where people are financially strapped. Not to mention the scalping situation that's been going on lately and still continues to be going on with both the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. I feel that there should have been like more kinks that should have been worked out before they actually released these gaming consoles. But I would love to know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Do you think the Xbox Series X and the PS5 should have been delayed until later this year? Or do you like the time frame they came out and you think there's nothing wrong with the launch? I'd love to know what you guys think down in the comment section below. As always, it's been James of Blue Eye Tech. I'll catch you guys next time. Have a good one.